Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Prijana Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Padidhanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Gita Upanishad as it is, translation and commentary, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse is 53. Naham vedeta na tapasa na dhanena na cheyaya shakya evam vido drastum drishtavan asimam yata. Okay, please repeat. Na, never. Aham, I. Vedher, by study of the Vedas. Na, never. Tapasa, by serious penances. Na, never. Dhanena, by charity. Na, never. Cha, also. Ivyaya. Sakya, it is possible. Evam vidha, like this. Drastum, to see. Dristavan, seeing. Asi, you are. Mam, me. Yata, as. Translation Srila Prabhupada. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Please repeat. The form that you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Krishna first appeared before his parents Devaki and Vasudeva in a four-handed form, and then he transformed himself into the two-handed form. This mystery is very difficult to understand for those who are atheists or who are devoid of devotional service. For scholars who have simply studied the Vedas by way of grammatical knowledge or mere academic qualifications, Krishna is not possible to understand, nor is he to be understood by persons who officially go to the temple to offer worship. They may make their visit, but they cannot understand Krishna as he is. Krishna can be understood only through the path of devotional service, as explained by Krishna himself in the next verse. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So that's the famous verse. Well, this is the niyama, the things you cannot do, or that are useless. The form that you are seeing, mukam karochi vachalam pangam lategirim yad kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru dinadaranam. The form that you are seeing in your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. Yes. So the aim of human life is to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth. So the Vedas explain that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Sri Krishna. Ete Kanksa Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And then of course there is the famous section earlier. Where Arjuna explains Asita, Devla, Vyasa. They all agree that you are the Supreme Lord. Krishna himself says, Vedanta Krit Vedavid Eva Chaham, that I am the compiler of the Vedas. So somebody may say, well, Krishna's compiled the Vedas, so then he's some big egotist. He's saying that I'm God. Just like you or I or anyone could write a book and say I'm God. But can you show the universal form? Can you lift Govardhan Hill? Can you expand yourself to dance with thousands of gopis in the Ras Leela? Can you create one grain of rice? Never mind a whole universe. So of course, no. So it is easy to declare certain things about yourself, but you have to prove it. So has Krishna proved that he's the Supreme Lord? Yes. According to the Govardhan Leela, lifting a whole mountain. Now somebody may say, oh, Krishna compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam in his form as Veda Vyas. He's just telling a story. So you can argue anything. But we follow Mahajanayena Katasva Pantha. Right? This is the point. The Vedas declare Krishna the Supreme Lord, and he himself declares that. And the process for understanding Krishna as the Supreme Lord is also given. Now this is the point. You can stay on the mental platform saying, oh, Krishna, he's just talking, or he's a historical figure, or this and that. But who are you going to listen to as your authority? Right? There's 7 billion people, they say, on the planet. Yeah. Highly doubtful. But who are you going to take as your authority? So the Vedas come forward and they say Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. If you want to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to understand what this life is, what is its source, how it's created, who is in charge, what is the next life, is there a next life? If you want to understand all that, then Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Now if you want to go to the marketplace, or you want to go to man-made religion, or you want to go to the mundane philosophers and take them as your authority, or if you want some political theorist, communism, capitalism, you can study their works, and you can enter into the world and try and be successful. But Prabhupada explains that we should look at this material world from a position of observation. Because karmadi nirda, everything is working according to the laws of karma. If you read the Bhagavad-Gita, 28th chapter, it starts. It's called Jnana Yoga. So this is not bhakti per se. Bhakti, as you know, is this system. But in Jnana Yoga, Krishna explains to Uddhava at the beginning of the chapter, he says, Uddhava, because the Bhagavad-Gita, the Paramahamsa Samhita, it is to make Uddhava into a Paramahamsa, so that he can absolutely realize the absolute truth. And that is done through following Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So Krishna is declaring himself to be the absolute truth, the great sages, the writings, the Guru Parampara, people of the most exemplary character. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sikh Goswamis, brilliant in renunciation. There's no literature, even the Western scholars, no philosophy like the Satsandabhas of Jiva Goswami. There's no literature like the Srimad Bhagavatam in its poetry and its cohesion. The Mahabharata is 100,000 verses. Who can write a poem of 100,000 verses? If we like to write one 4-line verse of rhyming verse, it'll take us time. But it explained that the Mahabharata, Vedavyas just spoke it straight out, and Ganesh was deputed to write it down. So he just spoke. Now that is the absolute truth. And if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and if you read the Bhagavad-Gita, and you actually see the content of these literatures, then you get Shraddha. You get faith. Shraddha. You get faith that this path is correct. So next you need the determination. The path is bhakti. This next verse is very similar to other verses in the Vedas, right? Only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. So I was just looking at the Brahma Samhita. Advaitam achyutim anadim anantim anantarupam adyam parana parasham navayovanam cha Vedesha dolam abadolam amadma bhakto govindam adi purisham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas. In this context, it means just by studying the Vedas, you cannot understand Krishna, which is an astounding thing. But obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul. So somebody may say, well, Krishna wrote the Vedavid Eva Chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedas. By the Vedas I am to be known. But here's Lord Brahma saying that inaccessible to the Vedas. The Vedas don't reveal me. But obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul. Right? So Shuddha Bhakti is the means by which you can understand the Vedas. That is the point. You can't, as Prabhupada in the purport said, you can't approach the Vedas as an academic in a so-called subjective, objective manner. I'm going to understand the Vedas just through my intellect, some imagined intellectual detachment. No. You can understand the Vedas through bhakti, and no other way. And Prabhupada gave the example that it's like licking the bottle of honey. If you are an academic, you may be in some big university and have collected so many Sanskrit literatures, and you may be analyzing the grammar and this and that and admiring its comprehension and scope. But you'll not get to the final point which is to understand Krishna. And why is that important? Janma kama tame divyam evam yo varitatpata. Takva deham punarjanma naitimam idisorjana. Those who understand my transcendental birth and activities never take birth in this material world again. So, yes, the aim of material life is to understand the absolute truth. What is this life? This is the mission of human life. The animals and the plants, they are just trying to survive in the material energy. But when the soul attains the human form, he's supposed to use the higher intelligence and facilities of the human life to understand the absolute truth. And the result, though, is it just something you decide to do? Instead of playing my guitar, I'll try to understand the absolute truth. Well, yes. But the method is very important. You must be undivided in your attention. Because you're dealing with a very important person. Like even if you go to see now Narendra Modi, he's re-elected, right?
Yes.
So if you disregard Narendra Modi, or you don't pay proper attention, is he going to reveal his personality? Of course not. We find that within ourselves, right? When we get to know somebody, after some period of time, we reveal our thoughts and personalities to that person. We don't do it on the first day. You have to feel confidence, trust in that person. So bhakti is that process. Ultimately, everything is mercy. Sadhana bhakti, the process of regulated bhakti, is meant to evoke the mercy of Krishna. Because Krishna reveals himself not through sadhana ultimately, not through the Vedas, but ultimately the final point is his own sweet will. Because he's a person. He's not an object that we're investigating. You know, he's not E is equal to mc squared. He's not some chemical formula that you're going to search in a library to find out. No, he's the supreme absolute person. And if you're going to search him out and find him out, that's not a cheap endeavor, right? The soul is eternal, the body is temporary, so the intelligent person does not become attached to temporary things. Because those objects are temporary, and your relationship to those objects are temporary, so why waste your time? If you have an alternative, and the alternative will give you eternal life, right? If you understand Krishna through the Vedas and through study of the Vedas, through bhakti, then you can understand the absolute truth. And then janma karma tame divyam, when you understand the absolute truth, you get eternal life. You get out of this material world, this ocean of birth and death. And this process we see by the quality of the literature, the quality of the Guru Parampara, the Mahajan, the Sadhu, Veda, Mahajan, Parampara, and the great devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who can write such literature, who can write songs, bhajans like Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, just like an ocean of nectar. He wrote over 100 books, and all the bhajans, we chant about 2 or 3 bhajans here, do we not? But Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he wrote hundreds of bhajans. He wrote whole books of bhajans. You know, surrender is 6 points, but he wrote a whole series of songs on the first point of surrender, accepting favorable things. Then he wrote a whole series of bhajans, rejecting unfavorable things, and so on. So these incredible personalities, at least in my experience, I don't know about your experience, but I guess it's the same, you cannot find in this material world, at least that I have never found anything that compares to the Vedic literature and the sadhus and the philosophy attached to that. So therefore, what do you need? This is also, while we're on this subject, you can only understand Krishna by bhakti. So, just on this point, it just occurs to me, this, you see at the end of the Brahma Samhita, Krishna, he gives the process of bhakti by which he can be known to Lord Brahma in 5 slokas. So let's go through them quickly. And these 5 slokas, they fully elucidate the process of bhakti. Here it is. Atho vacha mahavishnu bhagavantam prajapatim. That's the start. On hearing these hymns containing the essence of the truth, Supreme Lord Krishna said to Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination to create offspring, because he's Prajapati, by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to this science set forth in the following 5 slokas. Right? By being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead. Right? Now this is the point that Krishna is saying. You can easily glorify God by looking at the creation and seeing all the magnificent energy and power and intelligent design. But if you want to actually know the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, as said here, then you have to enter into bhakti. And you have to leave this academic and karmic ideas, jnana and karma. Right? So here's the first one. Prabhade jnana bhakti abhyam admyananda chinmayi udetutama bhakti bhagavat prema lakshana. When the pure spiritual experience, that means experience of Krishna, is excited by means of, so how do you wake up that spiritual cognition? The spiritual experience. People want experience, right? Sometimes people, they perform tapasyas. Now how do you get that experience that is different from your material life? You know, you wake up, you eat, you go to sleep, your life, and people, it's mundane, the mundane material world, it goes together, mundane and material. How do you get that enlivening spiritual realization? How do you touch that absolute truth that all these sadhus and Krishna himself are actually talking about? So this is Krishna, so you can take it as quite authoritative. If it was Radharani, it would be more authoritative. But we'll take Krishna's word. How is it excited, that spiritual experience beyond the mundane? By means of cognition and service, bhakti. Super excellent, unalloyed devotion characterized by love of Godhead is awakened towards Krishna, the beloved of souls. So at the beginning you need 2 things. What are they? Cognition. Yes. And bhakti. Cognition means to see. Right? Recognize means you're seeing again something you know. So cognition means you see it for the first time. After that you can recognize. So cognition here, in the purport, it's very clear. Here's a purport. The knowledge that embraces the only first 7 of the 10 principles of the Dashamula. Yeah, the Dashamula is the 10 principles of the absolute truth enunciated in the Vedas. But now, what does cognition mean? Cognition means, in the beginning state, it means to study the Shastra. Because the Shastra is non-different from the absolute truth. You understand? So you want that spiritual experience. Well, the spiritual experience is there in the book. It is the description of the Leela, name, form, qualities, pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But how do you get that? You study the Shastra, but then the same point is here. By cognition and bhakti, by sadhana bhakti. So that means siddhanta. And Prabhupada says that, and all acharyas say that. The first step that will take you out of the kanishta neophyte condition where you're speculating is that you must study the Shastra. The Shastra is itself the absolute truth, and therefore from the Shastra you can get the full spiritual experience. But you must practice bhakti. Yeah. And what's the first thing that Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Devotion if you want to practice bhakti? He gives 64. What's the first one? Guru Ashraya. You have to take shelter of Guru. So bhakti starts with that. Now, so first cognition and devotion under the guidance of Guru. So that means you should study Shastra and perform bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu under the guidance of Guru. That's the first thing. Now then the next verse, this is number 2 of the 5. Pramanas tad sadacharais tadabhyasa nirantaram bodhayan atma atmanam bhaktimapyutamam labet. Yeah. The highest devotion is attained, right? So that's the neophyte, cognition and bhakti. You're going to the ashram of the Guru. He's teaching you the Dashamula. He's teaching you how to chant. He's teaching you how to do breathing exercises, control the mind. He's fixing you how you can get that spiritual experience. But how do you get to the highest point? The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees. Slow degrees. You've heard it before. Gradual process. By the method of. Yeah, there's 3 things that you've got to remember now. You remember cognition and bhakti? Right. By the method of constant endeavor for self-realization, with the help of 3 things. Put these in your mind. Scriptural evidence, Shastra, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice, nirantaram. Huh? What's the first one? Scriptural evidence. It comes back again to the Vedas. So it's so important, to the Shastra. Then theistic conduct. And this is in the purport. He explains that you must act piously. You cannot think, oh, I'm a devotee now, so I can steal money for Krishna. Oh, I'm a devotee now, so I don't have to be truthful. I'm a devotee now, so I can do anything I like, because I'm in the spiritual energy and Krishna won't punish me and he's on my side and I can do anything. No. There's that, there was, I remember many, many years ago that idea was floating around, that you can do anything to the material people because they're in Maya. No, that is not Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism means theistic conduct. That means you must perform your dharma according to the codes. Mahadyena katasva pantha. Dharmam tu shakshad bhagavat pranihitam. What is dharma? Dharma is the codes given by the Supreme Lord that is suitable for the materially conditioned people. Dharma, material dharma, or varnashram dharma, it gives advice. Now you're in this situation, you should act in this way. You have Brahminical tendency, well, cultivate these qualities. You have Kshatriya qualities, tendency, then cultivate these qualities. You have Vaishya quality, tendency, business, then you cultivate these qualities. You just want to work like Shudra, then cultivate these qualities. So that is theistic conduct. Theistic conduct isn't just I can do anything for Krishna. I can be a robber, criminal, rogue, rascal, liar, politician, rumamanga. All these people, they are not following the process of bhakti. They are hellish. So, theistic conduct and perseverance in practice. Right? So what are those three? Scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, and perseverance. And then the highest devotion is attained how? In one day? Slow degrees. So you should have that confidence that every day you go Mangala, you chant 16 rounds, follow principles, study a little Shastra, so on. You should understand that I'm making a small degree every day. This will enthuse you. If you don't feel progress, you won't. But you should think like that. And example, an aeroplane is flying in the sky, but you don't know if it's going up in altitude, right? When you first take off, you can see you're going up. You can see the ground disappearing below you. So in bhakti, when you first join, you give up meeting, gambling, intoxication, all those things. Immediately you feel a relief. I'm taking off from mundane life. But then as you progress, many, many years, 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's nothing. Then how you can keep that? Because you should understand I'm making slow degrees of profit. I'm following principles, I'm chanting my rounds, I'm studying the Shastra, I'm taking prasadam, I'm trying to avoid offenses, so I can be assured I'm making slow degrees, even though I may not perceive it myself. And that slow degree means only one thing, a gaining rati, attachment to Krishna, right? Just like I said at the beginning. The soul is eternal, so don't become attached to anything that is material, temporary, in quality or in relationship. So that's 3 of the verses. Yasya shreyas karam nashti yaya nevritim apnoyat yasajati mameva bhaktim tameva sadayat. These preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion than whom there is no superior well-being. If you attain Krishna Prem, there's no superior position of well-being. It's very interesting. So, you feel better. Who goes in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss and who can lead to myself. Right? So those practices, and this is the thing. Sometimes, when devotees came to Vrindavan initially, Prabhupada gave what's very simple process. Read the Shastra, chant Hare Krishna, follow the principles, do some practical service. You'll go back to Godhead. But then when some earlier devotees, they came here, I first came 73, Vrindavan, and they became bewildered. Prabhupada said, don't associate with all the different sadhus and pandits, because if they say one word different from what I say, you'll all be disturbed. That was because at the beginning, we were all just 1 year, 2 years into the movement, and we're suddenly in Vrindavan, we're chanting Hare Krishna, saying Gayatri and everything, but we had very much less. We weren't fixed in knowledge and realization, at least some of us might have been. So, therefore, easily distracted. Once you're fixed in knowledge and realization, you can't be distracted because you know. Just like when you know music, you know music. You don't have to prove it to anyone. You know it within yourself. So when a devotee is realized in Krishna, all the doubts, everything fade away because it's his personal experience. But at the neophyte condition, it's called Kamala Shraddha. It means soft. Kamala means lotus. The lotus leaf is very soft. So the neophyte's faith is very soft. He can be easily distracted. Oh, I don't know about this, I don't know this. Because he's not fixed in cognition and bhakti. He's not gained realization through these basic things. So, devotee doesn't have that problem because he realizes Krishna. And now this is a very important point that Lord Brahma is going to clarify in the next verse. coming to the final point. Yeah, no, that's not the final point. Dharma madhyat parijajya mamekam bhajva vishvasan yadrasi yadrasi shraddha siriya bhavati tadrisi. This is the important thing. Yadrasi yadrasi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrisi. That means that your realization will correspond to the depth of your faith. Now this is the important point. Like we're talking about the man-made religions, usually they rely on blind faith, dogmatism, ritualism, and you believe this and you'll be saved. But there's not much cause to believe this, because a lot of it is gobbledygook, poppycock, and obviously man-made, and has been edited and changed and revised and reviled for thousands of years. But we're not recommending such a reaction, because through bhakti you can actually realize the absolute truth within yourself. This is the important point. Yadrasi. So we're not propagating a kind of blind faith. Just believe. I know you can't understand, but if those thoughts that make you doubtful, they're the devil. Right? They have religions like this, isn't it? The devil made me do it. The devil is giving you thoughts and all this. So their own lack of realization, they blame the devil on. So, the judge asks somebody, why did you rob the bank? They're in the courthouse, he's been captured. So, the devil made me do it. What will the judge say? Well, the devil made you do it, but you're going to prison. Right? Do you understand? Blaming the devil. No, we should take responsibility. That's yoga. We don't blame anyone. Forget the past that sleeps. We don't pretend to be a victim of some racism or some situation. And we don't dream the future. We act, we take responsibility for our life, and we act in the present. So, this is how you act. The earlier verses were philosophical. Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. Again, faith, bhakti, shraddha, ato shraddha, tata sadhusanda. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act ceaselessly in the pursuance of some ideal. This world, material world. By meditating on me by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. So you get that last sentence, very important. By meditating on me by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. That means Swarup Siddhi. So you'll be situated in Swarup, in Krishna Prem. How? By meditating on me by means of those deeds. What are those deeds? Well, Krishna already explained, in this world people are always trying to do something. Build a bridge, raise a family, open a business, keep the boss satisfied, whatever. They have to do some work to survive in this world. So Krishna says, and this is yad karosi yadanasi yad dadosi dadasi, that whatever you have to do, whatever your dharma, whatever your duties are, do it theistically, but do it as an offering unto me. That's bhakti. So you start from the situation you're in, and you do your duties theistically, piously, and you offer it to Krishna. Now, what is the difference? Usually in this world, people are always acting ceaselessly for some ideal, some selfish ideal, right? They want that family, they want that house, they want that business success, they want something. But the devotee, he performs his dharma, but he offers that as a service to Krishna. Therefore, say you're a doctor, you can be a doctor and think, I'm getting a good salary, I'm going to go to Hawaii for the holiday, take the wife and kids. That's mundane. But if you think this is my dharma, I'm a doctor, now let me look after these patients as if they are the Supreme Lord themselves. Let me give them all help from my knowledge, and let me do that as my devotional offering to the Supreme Lord. So then you will gain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the Supreme Service. So this is Prabhupada. You understand? Chant your rounds, very simple. Follow regulative principles, very simple. Read the Shastras, very simple. But then do some practical service, Padasevanam. Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam. You do some practical service. How? By your normal duties in life, you offer them to the Supreme Lord. You do them nicely, theistically, and you offer them to the Supreme Lord. And then he gives in the last of the 5 slokas, Aham hi visvasya characharasya bijam pradhanam prakritim pumamscha mahitam idam bibarsi videhi tvam tido jiganti. Listen, O Vidya, I am the seed, the fundamental principle of this world of animate and inanimate objects. So now this is tattva. Krishna is giving the realization that will come to you personally. He's explaining it. So, I am the pradhan, substance of matter. I am Prakriti, and I am Purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy, Rajagun, because Lord Brahma, that is confirmed, that is in you, inheres in you, has also been confirmed by me, conferred by me. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. So Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, now your job is to regulate this whole material world. Do it as an offering unto me. Right? Don't do it as Lord Brahma, but do it as Lord Brahma, servant of the Supreme Lord. Right? And that is the Devata mentality. They're running the universe, but they're doing it as a service to Krishna. So that's the 5 slokas of bhakti. We'll finish on this point. The form that you can see can only be understood by devotion, not by study in an academic way, not by charity, mundane charity, not by just Kanishtadikari worship, right? Sometimes we don't want to discourage people, but people bring a garland and they offer it to Krishna, you see, at the weekend. And then they go home and check on the cricket scores. So it's not, you're getting some sukriti, but are you going to realize the absolute truth as he is in himself? So, ye tam mam prapadyante tam staiva bhajavya. All of them as they surrender, I reward accordingly. So we should be assured like that. Just like you put your money in the bank because you know it's going to be safe. So we should know we're safe with Krishna. Krishna is going to reward us. Ye tam mam prapadyante. We shouldn't think, oh, maybe Krishna will be happy with him, but not Keshi Damana. Maybe Krishna will give his mercy to Kar Bhajan or Bhakta Daniel, but he won't give to Prabhuji. No, Krishna says, don't worry. Ye tam mam prapadyante. All of them. All of them. He's not going to dislike you because you have a big nose, or you're old, or you're not as clever as the next man. He's going to react to you, your sincerity. And what is the one word that we're told? To attain, what does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? Lord Nityananda has opened a marketplace. He's selling the holy name. He's selling Krishna. Selling Krishna. How do you buy? No. How do you purchase the holy name? How do you purchase Krishna? Lolam. Lolam. Desire. So we've explained the whole thing. Krishna has explained the whole process of bhakti. But what is the catalyst to make it all work? Right? You know what a catalyst is. Everyone knows. Right? All the chemicals are in the pot, but they're not reacting. But then you introduce a little catalyst, and then the chemical reaction grows. Right? So the catalyst of bhakti is lolam, desire. Right? We're all acting ceaselessly in pursuit of something because of desire. So we are desiring entities. So the thing is, you can't suppress desire. So what you have to do, endlessly. So we have to use our desire. I want to be a devotee. We have to make that decision. And we can know all the Shastra in the world, we can know all the processes, we can live in Vrindavan Dham, we can do everything. We can go to Mangalati. We can even make the temple president happy with good service. But have you got loyalam for Swarup Siddhi? For understanding your relationship with Krishna, right? Now I remember when we first joined, Prabhupada was there, everyone had that feeling. Yeah, follow regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, read Prabhupada's books, sell Prabhupada's books, and you'll get Krishna Prem. That was the talk in the temple, I'm not kidding you. 200 mad brahmacharis. So that was, right? So even though ISKCON is now established and so on and this and that, and there's so many Kanishta-adhikari devotee coming, mundane people, this and that, we should not let that association make us forget what our real desire is. We're not here to be socially nice people. We're here for Nityasiddha Krishna Prem Sarakabhanai Shravanadi Sudajita. So we should have that vision in our mind, and we should maintain that. And even though Kanishta-adhikari and Aparadi and everything were there, the essential thing is to maintain that desire. Because that is the catalyst that will give you love of God. Lolam. Desire. And then once you have a little Krishna consciousness, you should cultivate what? Say a businessman, he has 1,000 rupees. What does he want? Huh? He wants another 1,000. What's that called? Greedy. Yes, that's right. Yes, he's greedy. We don't like greedy people generally, especially if they've got more money than us. But we should be detached from that. We should just accept what comes according to our quota, according to our karma. But this is the whole point. That once we gain a little Krishna consciousness, then we want to become greedy for it. So at the beginning, lolam, desire, I want it. But then when I've got it, I like having 1,000 rupees. It'll be even better if I have 2,000 rupees. Right? The materialist thinks like that. It's all about money for the materialist. But the devotee thinks, no, it's all about bhakti. A Kadasi is coming up, so let me chant 64 rounds. Let me get everything done today so that I can chant 64 rounds tomorrow on a Kadasi. Look, I've got a spare day. Let me go to Radhakund and take bath and offer some tulsi at the samadhis. So then I can get that slow degree. So we have to cultivate, this is what Rupa Goswami says, cultivating the bhakti lata beach. Because it grows through the material coverings, and then it gives a flower, and then the fruit of love of God at the lotus feet of Krishna. So we'll finish on that point. Any questions? Hare Krishna. Oh, microphone. Let Mataji ask question. I'm starting to speak like Sanskrit. Let Mataji ask question. Ask a question. Yes, go on.
Thank you for your class.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. We've all made a slow degree today, right? So when you come to Bhagavad-Gita tomorrow to see the great Bhuvaneshwar, you think, another big slow degree. Okay, go on.
What's the difference between theistic conduct and sadhana? What's the difference between theistic conduct and sadhana?
And censor.
Sadhana.
Oh, sadhana, but it's practically the same. Sadhana means eternal behavior. It means in accordance with Shastra. Sadhu, sat means eternal. So sadhu means, they're all related, sa. The sadhu is somebody who acts according to the Shastra, according to the absolute truth. So sadhana means the same thing. Eternal behavior, according to the eternal Shastra. And that's very, like I was saying in the class, theistic conduct is very important. I've seen a lot of people, they think, oh, we're devotees, now I got initiation, I can do anything. This is a very foolish idea. This will destroy. This is the Rakshasa philosophy. I can do anything I like because these are dirty karmis. No, the devotee is the person who thinks, this person is without knowledge, I have a little bit, let me. He doesn't act in an arrogant way, he acts compassionately. That is sadhachar. That is the behavior of the sadhu. You understand? So any other, yeah.
As you were giving the example of the greed.
The what?
Greed.
Greed, yes.
You see, outside PBC 1000, you want 2000, this one. So similar way, the devotees also, they want that my house should be something, I should have deity in my house, I should serve. We have a different greed than the materialist greed. He has a different greed than the materialist greed. Material greed have their person's gratification, where devotee have the greed to serve Krishna.
Yes, that was the whole point. Any other question?
The point you was just making from Google, the spiritual masters said before about first be a good person, then be a good devotee.
Yeah, that's right. You just want,
you reminded me what you just said today.
Yeah,
So
say it again, that's well put.
We should be nice people.
First be a good person, then be a good devotee. Yeah. But of course, in one sense, unless you know the standards, the codes of good devotion, you can't be a good person. You understand? Go on.
You said about greedy.
Huh?
Greed.
Oh.
If one gets 1,000 rupees, then he wants in United States.
Yeah.
Okay. When first rank wealthy man, first class wealthy man.
First class wealthy man.
Wealthy man.
Wealthy. Yes, a wealthy man.
Media persons asked one question, what is your goal of life? He simply said one word answer, more.
Yeah. That's it. You see, Krishna in the Gita, divine demoniac nature, he describes the devotee. He says a kind friend. He says, that's what he says, a kind friend. But then when he talks about the demon, he speaks as a demon. He says, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more. So that's the materialist. You see, for the materialist, it's all about money. The first point is, like Lord Chaitanya says, dhanam na dhanam na sun, dhanam, no dhanam, money. Because that means energy. So if you have more energy, you have more power. So they want power ultimately. They want to be little Ravanas and Hiranyakashipu's, enjoying the material energy. So that is a foolish endeavor, because you're going to die and lose everything. Plus, it's not as satisfactory. Therefore, asura. A means not, su, very, ra, pleasure. Asura. Sura means very pleasure. Devotee feels, asura, a devotee, feels pleasure. Freedom and anxiety is the base. But the materialist is always anxious. More money. Huh? So right at the root of his personality is in anxiety. And Krishna says, without peace, how can there be happiness? So he's anxious for more money, more money, more money. And then he's anxious to keep it, because the government will come, the thieves will come, tax collector will come, everyone will come. Therefore, Ishyavasya idam sarvam yatkinchat yagajam jagat tena taktena bunjita magrida garisasvetanam. Therefore, one should only accept, this is first verse of Ishopanishad, that which comes naturally as his quota. And one shouldn't desire other people's property or position, knowing well to whom it ultimately belongs. You see, if I desire your smartphone, I don't. But if I wanted it, it's really belonging to Krishna. So it's in your possession. So I'm a thief. I want to take Krishna's phone and make it mine. But so Ishopanishad, oh, but how do I get things? So Ishopanishad said, act in Sattvagun, act theistically, do your dharma, Ishyavasya, and understand everything is controlled and owned by the Lord, and then just take what comes naturally as your quota in life. And with the balanced time, study Shastra, study Bhakti, study the Mahajans, and then go back to Godhead. Because there's many sayings like that, that when the child is born, the food is born along with the child. Just like in the mother's breast, the milk is there, so the food for the child is there. Right? When the child is born, the mother produces milk automatically. So in life, more or less, how much money, our friends, our society, who we will marry, many of these things are already born along with us because of karmic and desire, because of karmic influence and desire. So one shouldn't, start desiring extraordinary, exemplary things beyond want. Then one will only be in anxiety. But be satisfied. As Krishna says, without peace, how can there be happiness? So all these materialists, they want more money because the amount that they have is not satisfactory. Right? A brahmachari has no money, surrendered everything to Guru. Alright? He's Bali Maharaj.
Yes.
He has no anxiety. Let me just serve Guru. Right? But the materialist is always making a plan. But the thing is, if wealth comes to him, it's a result of his karma. It's not disconnected from his past activities. So if we have knowledge, we just understand, mother's milk is born along with child, so the food is born along with the child. The wealth is born along, the country is born along, the family is born along with the child, right? The face or the gender, male or female, is born along with the child. So why isn't the food born along? Why are you worried about food? Huh? Actually, if you look around the world, obesity is more of a problem than malnutrition. Did you know that? Did you know, I read once in an article, that because of transportation now, food is being transported all over the world, because that's the way money is made. But did you know that 50% of the food that is produced by Mother Bhumi is never eaten by anyone? It just goes back into the soil. 50%. 50%. We don't have to grow more food to help people. We just have to be more careful about maintaining its usefulness. But 50% lost. That means, of course, I don't believe that 7 billion figure. That means that Mother Bhumi produces enough food, if it's not wasted, for double the population. 14 billion. But of course they want to reduce the population because they
China.
you know, the elite, the cabal, as they say. Because that's one thing that they don't have. They have the money, politics, education. They have so much control. But they don't have control over 7 billion people. If they start getting knowledge. So let's reduce. So yes, this is the state of the world we're in nowadays. But they destroy themselves. This is the point. This is what I was saying before. Prabhupada said we should just be like observer. Just like you go to Africa and you go on a safari trip. You take photos of the lions chasing the buffalo and the buffalo chewing grass or whatever. So you don't get down from the safari vehicle and say, Mr. Lion, why are you biting that antelope's neck? Huh? Why are you being so cruel? No. You just observe the material world. Don't get involved. Don't get sucked into it by attachment to this or that idea. Just see it. People are experiencing desire and karmic effects, and the world is going on. But you don't jump back into the ocean once you're on the ship. You can throw lifelines or life buoys out to the people in the ocean, but don't jump into the ocean yourself. Anyway, carry on. So that's the problem with the wealthy people. They're lost to themselves. They don't know what's good for their own self. And all this money that they accumulate, it's there in the Bhagavatam. It's very interesting, 3rd canto. Kapila Dev to his mother, Deva, she is explained, you know, that all this money that they're accumulating, they're not, it's taken by the taxman, or it's taken by the family, or something. They're working their whole life, and they don't even enjoy it. There might be some sense, if I worked hard and I got a nice car, and then I enjoyed driving it around. But if I get a nice car and it stays in the garage and then I die, what's the use of having it? So what's the use of billions of dollars if you can't use it, right? Actually, on that point, I'll just tell you, Rupa Goswami, when he surrendered to Lord Chaitanya, he gave the exemplary means. 50% he kept for spiritual purposes. 25% he kept for personal emergencies, and 25% he gave to his family members. That's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So 50%, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Jaivedharma says that 50%, if a devotee comes, he's got 50% of the money he's made in the world, then he comes to Vrindavan, then he can, or he wants to surrender, then he can give it to different good causes, carefully. Because if you give your money to a rogue and a thief, dressed as a devotee, the karmic effect is questionable. You have to give money to the right person who's going to use it righteously. Then you get some benefit. So Rupa Goswami says 50% you use for pious works. That's the proper use of wealth. 25, 25, 50. Reasonable. So we'll finish, yes? Or we'll finish on that point. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad-Gita Ki Jai.